A journey through the archives of the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India was established on the 1st of April 1935 in accordance with the provisions of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Initially established in Kolkata, the central office of the Reserve Bank of India was permanently moved to Mumbai in 1937. It is here that the governor, the deputy governors and other top functionaries formulate the policies. The preamble of the Reserve Bank of India describes its basic functions as to regulate the issue of banknotes and keeping of reserves with a view to securing the monetary stability of India, and generally to operate the currency and credit system of the country to its advantage. Thus, holding the annals of the Reserve Bank of India consisting of its various decisions and notings while formulating, implementing and monitoring the monetary policies, regulating and supervising the financial system, managing foreign exchange, issuing currency, supporting national objectives and serving as the banker to the government as well as the banker to banks, assume paramount importance that needs to be maintained for posterity and for perpetuity. This humongous responsibility came to rest upon the able shoulders of the Reserve Bank of India Archives or RBI Archives, established and operating in the College of Agricultural Banking campus at the University Road in Pune. By virtue of being the erstwhile Central Records and Documentation Centre, the beautiful premises and precincts of the RBI Archives also preserves, maintains and provides access to records dating back to the pre-independence era of India, even to the times of the British East India Company. Further, Pune was already the home to such eminent heritage buildings, academic institutions and archives such as the Deccan College, Aga Khan Palace, the Bhandarkar Oriental Research Institute, National Film Archives of India, Tata Central Archives and the Pune University. Another important reason for Pune emerging as the natural choice was its salubrious climate, which is ideal for the storage and preservation of paper documents. As the guardian of a very august and important organization like the Reserve Bank of India, the RBI Archives is assigned the responsibility to act as a nodal agency for the management of RBI records.
The vision of Reserve Bank of India Archives is to excel as an archive that adopts best standards in scientific preservation of all permanent records of the Reserve Bank of India.
The RBI Archives is functioning under the History Cell, Department of Economic and Policy Research, Central Office in Mumbai. The College of Agricultural Banking provides administrative support to the RBI Archives under the overall supervision of its Chief General Manager and Principal.
Few central banks have full-fledged archives. The Reserve Bank of India is one among those central banks. Our central archive was set up 34 years ago. It is still evolving, but at the moment it has the reputation of one of the leading archives in the central banking domain. It has excellent professional staff and very sophisticated processes. We are indeed very proud of this institution that we have in our central bank.
The mission of the RBI Archives is to preserve the invaluable records of the Reserve Bank of India as part of its archival resources and make them available for reference and research to the present and future generations by leveraging the experience of competent and committed employees and the available state-of-the-art technologies. Therein lie the huge challenges and responsibilities of the RBI Archives that define its functions. Those functions translate into daunting tasks, which are performed with utmost seriousness and sincerity by the competent staff in the different departments within these walls, as is evident from this journey through the archives of the Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India Archives makes all earnest efforts to ensure the longevity of the documents in its custody through preventive, curative and restorative processes. The long-drawn process of archiving begins with receiving 12-year-old non-current permanent records from various central office departments in Mumbai as well as the regional offices of RBI located all over India. On receipt of the records, they are physically verified against the accompanying transmittal list. On making any necessary corrections, the records are accessioned and the entries made in the accession register. This gives each record a unique identification number called the accession number that makes retrieval easy. For the records with the accession number, the journey of transformation into archives does not end there. Rather, it is the beginning of the journey to perpetuity. In order to preserve the documentary heritage from the deteriorating effects of light, heat, humidity, pollution, dust, molds and acidity, the RBI Archives employs highly qualified and competent personnel as well as the latest technologies and techniques. After accessioning, the records are subjected to the vacuum fumigation process that eliminates insects and microorganisms from between and within the pages. Not all documents that land up at the RBI Archives are in crisp and proper physical condition, having gone through a grueling handling and storage regime. Many of the documents have become creased and folded and even become fragile. The acidic property of the paper medium eventually causes yellowing and browning, making matters worse. The goal of the RBI Archives preservation program is not just the preservation of the physical form of the records, but also the survival of the information for perpetuity. In order to achieve this, the documents are treated to de-acidification, application of ink fixers, solvent lamination, full pasting of one-side written fragile documents using insect repellent adhesives, as well as tissue repairing and acid-free handmade paper filing. But before these files withdraw from the preservation process and rest assured as archives for posterity, they are placed in acid-free handmade boxes and stored in compactors of the record room. The two record rooms of the RBI Archives are strictly monitored and maintained under favorable temperature and relative humidity conditions round the clock. It goes to the credit of the RBI Archive that realized the need for digitization through scanning and microfilming of important records for their quick retrieval, as well as maintaining backup of the invaluable permanent records of the Reserve Bank of India. Yet, preserving the records for making the information accessible is not the sole mission of the RBI Archives. Research scholars and academicians from different universities in India, as well as from countries like Germany, the USA, the UK, Japan and South America have visited the RBI Archives for an in-depth study of the evolution of the RBI and the economic and financial history of India. The RBI Archives also creates awareness about rich archival heritage of the Reserve Bank of India by organizing mobile exhibitions and conducting record management programs. In order to make this glorious legacy and holdings accessible to all, the Reserve Bank of India Archives also has a museum that was inaugurated on the 1st of June 2010 within the same premises. It houses and displays rare artifacts collected from various offices and thematic exhibitions of the RBI ever since its inception and even before that. It is here that the visitors get to trace the origin of India's central bank from the extracts of the report of the Royal Commission on Indian Currency, then headed by Edward Hilton Young. It was he who recommended the creation of a central bank for India that we today recognize as the Reserve Bank of India. Another important record bearing the accession number 30167 is the Reserve Bank of India Bill, as passed by the Indian legislature on the 22nd of February 1934. The subsequent year, the first meeting of the Central Board of Directors of the RBI was held, leading to the approval of the RBI seal during the proceedings at Kolkata. Another important part of the history of the Indian economy is the letter issued on the 19th of May 1937 from the Master Security Printing Currency Note Press in Nasik, addressed to the Secretary of the RBI, seeking the final approval of the specimens of RBI notes. The letter from B.K. Madan, Executive Director of the IMF, to C.D. Deshmukh, the first Indian to be appointed as the Governor of the Reserve Bank of India by the British, bears the date 11th of March 1948, the accession number 44846, and the IMF resolution condoling the death of Mahatma Gandhi. Another important document is a letter from the first Prime Minister of India, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, to the first Indian Governor of the RBI, C.D. Deshmukh, expressing his concerns over the deteriorating economic situation in India and requesting him to suggest remedial steps. The document bearing witness to the historical Transfer of Public Ownership Act 1948, specimen copies of the first series of traveller's checks issued by the State Bank of India in 1958, a letter from Morarji Desai as the Finance Minister in the Government of India to H.V.R. Iyengar, Governor, the Reserve Bank of India, regarding the success of state loans are also archived here. A letter from Indira Gandhi to the RBI requesting for the release of foreign exchange of £600, then amounting to about 8,000 Indian rupees towards the payment of the fees of her son Rajiv Gandhi, makes interesting reading. Another letter from Professor D.R. Gadgil, Deputy Chairman Planning Commission, to the Governor L.K. Jha regarding the implementation of the nationalization of banks, which is a milestone in the banking of India, and a circular from the Exchange Control Department of the RBI to all authorized foreign exchange dealers regarding the dealings with the Reserve Bank of India are also the prized possessions of the Reserve Bank of India archives. These documents are just a glimpse. To date, the RBI archives holds 26,000 files, 12,000 registers, 7,200 publications, 1,500 press clipping files, 5,000 photographs, 2,000 microfilm rolls, about 1,500 electronic records. Yet, the RBI archives is not just about the past. As a custodian of vital records and information, the RBI Archives in Pune is implementing the archival and records management policy of the Reserve Bank of India, while continuously framing and updating the archival policies and procedures to stay at par with the challenges, needs and developments of the time.